Welcome to the Healthier You Show, a guide to living a healthy, active, and productive life. Today, my new prototype, Amelia, is going to open up the show.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about a thing called being healthy.
Great, very good. Alana, take it away.
Yeah, so today we're really excited to be joined by three wonderful guests. Amelia Rivera, who just opened up for us.
Hello, miss.
There you go, great personality. We also have Melissa Nicolai and Elizabeth Chiaffa. Or as their students refer to them, Chef Mel and Chef Liz. They are both the co-founders of Culinary Arts Kids Eat, which is called C.A.K.E. And they also, the program takes place at Santee Education Complex, which is in South LA. So kind of go ahead and dive right into the program. So I was hoping you guys could just kind of open up and tell us a little bit about C.A.K.E.
Well, I'll start off, and then Liz certainly can jump right in. But we began C.A.K.E because we were listening to so many different parents and students that were talking about how their life was not very healthy, and how could we make it healthier? And they said, well, in school we're taught so many different things, but we're not taught any life skills. So we thought, well, how can we use our skill set, bring it into the high school, and teach the kids not just how to cook, but how to live a healthy life, and how important that would be. When you say that's the truth, Ben?
Absolutely. I don't think that they had an understanding of how food and cooking is related to their lifestyle. It was a complete disconnect, and it still is, but it's gotten so much better. The results are so much better, and the understanding is so much better. Emilio is an example of that. He understands that through cooking, which is something that he's very passionate about it, that is something that he wants to continue to do, but at the same time, he understands that he has to eat healthy because there's consequences in his own personal life. So that is a great benefit of it.
It was so funny. We were just talking. Emilio was telling us that he actually started cooking. Well, the first time he started making an omelet, he learned that recipe from a Magic Bullet commercial. And I'm going, hold on. Do you actually blend the eggs in the blender before you make the omelet? So, Emilio, why don't you tell us a little bit about the first time you started cooking and how, what got you into making that omelet?
I think that got me to make the omelet because I always see my mom cook, and I always wanted to help her, but she would say no because then either I could make a mess or either I could kind of mess up. So I think one day when they were not there, I got some eggs, I cracked them, I put it in a bowl. I started scrambling them and started putting ham.
No, is that something you're learning from the program?
Not the egg part, but
Okay,
all the nice skills and everything, mise en place that we do.
And I heard that you actually signed yourself up to the class, right? So tell us a little bit more about that.
The thing that made me want to sign up, because since my sister been through high school and my brother and stuff, I asked them what kind of things I could take over there. And they said that there's either volleyball or basketball, and the thing that caught my eye was cooking.
Okay.
So after waiting all the elementary years, middle school, after when I moved here during my 7th grade, I moved here, and that's when I heard about Santee. They had a culinary, and that's what made me want to take it. So the first day I came here, they said that there's application that we could sign up for, either softball or something. There is cooking class. I signed up for it, but after a couple of days it was cool. I never got a response. So that's why I started talking around. I started telling people if there's any cooking class and stuff. They told me there was one on the 3rd floor. That's when I went over there and forced myself into it.
Yeah, this is a real funny story. The principal told me, he wants to be in cooking class so badly. So he came to talk to me directly, and he says, I want to be in your class. And I said, okay, so you're not in my class now. So tell me what your classes are. So tell me how you're doing in your classes. Because in order for you to be in my class, you have to be doing well in your other classes. So he said, well, I think I'm doing well. So I actually signed him up to the class. I went downstairs and I said, is there a way for him to be in my class this semester? And he came in late in the semester, but he really, he's made his way into the program. It's his passion. His brother is a chef, so it's something that runs in the family.
Wow, so kind of taking a step back in terms of the vision for C.A.K.E, and I know that earlier on, C.A.K.E had to go through some of the hurdles to get to where it is today. Now, tell us a little bit more about that experience and how you first go through that process.
Well, I mean, Santee Educational Complex is part of LAUSD, so that is a huge entity. And I came as a mentor. I wasn't a teacher. Now I'm a teacher. But the hurdles are trying to sort of navigate through the system, navigate through the politics of it without losing track of what you're there for. So at the beginning, it wasn't that it was difficult to do. It was just that we didn't know the ways to it. And still we walk a very sort of slow pace when we do something, just because we are mindful of the fact that it is a system, it's part of LAUSD, and you have to navigate through it.
Yeah, so when did C.A.K.E actually start? When was your founding? And kind of, can you give us a little overview of maybe the program components?
So we started, I'd say, about 2 years ago, and we are a supplemental program to what is already the culinary arts program that is going on at Santee, which is an LAUSD school. And we thought we would add in kind of more of a health and a wellness and nutrition component. So we got familiar with the American Heart Association, and they actually gifted the school 10 raised beds, and we created an urban garden. So from that now we can bring our students down there. They can learn all about how life begins, and we can understand how to do urban gardening and how to do conventional gardening as opposed to organic, learn how to grow your own foods, and then we create from farm to table. So we grow and we bring it on up to the kitchen, and we teach them what to do with it and why it's important that you eat something fresh and healthy. What's in the soil? What makes the food so delicious and tasty is what's in the soil, and that ultimately is what you're going to end up eating. So it just makes them open up their minds to understand that it's really important to look at where does your food come from. So by teaching them that aspect, I think it opened up a lot of doors and a lot of windows, and to a lot. And I think it also allowed the school to see, well, we're making a lot of strides here, because they had nothing there. What's concrete is now viable, growing life forms. So that was one of our first starts, and then we created a pilot program where we actually asked kids, why don't you write down and tell us what foods you eat every day? And why don't you show us what the salt and the sugar and the carbohydrate, take a picture of it, and then talk to us a little bit about what you learned. Why do people eat the certain foods they do? So that was pilot number 1. Pilot number 2 was, let's go and explore the world, and regionally you're going to find out what would you like to cook from different places in the world. And they learned about the climate and the topography and what the history was of the different civilizations. Came together, understood what the spices were, added that to what was seasonal, created healthy, delicious, fresh salads that were a total meal, and they created that and they gave it out to the schools, the students in the school. We were down there as a supplemental program for lunch. 4 seconds later, literally, those salads were gone. People knocked us over for them. So we realized that people do want to eat healthy. Students want to eat healthy. Young people want to learn to eat healthy. Maybe the opportunity wasn't there for them before to understand how they can, but now it is. And once they start to understand, they become educated. Our idea is to educate and enrich and enlighten them, and to give them the tools to go ahead and create healthy food. So that's how we've started to navigate, and now we're up to where the students are actually going to have their own culinary arts video, where they're creating that. That's their final project, and so they're adding components of healthy food. What can they make in 30 minutes or less, combined with nutrition, wellness, and health, and how they can integrate that in. It'll be a 3 to 4 minute video. Kids Cooking for Kids, and that'll be their final, and we're hoping it'll air on YouTube and on our website. They're going to go out and shoot on location. They're learning every area of production. So then that becomes another thing that they can say, professionally they can say, I've worked on a culinary show. I know how to cook healthy, and I also know how to produce my own TV show.
You got a great host right there. You're defining his skills.
And that goes back to the lifestyle, we have to think about lifestyles outside the box. So it's not just about, the healthy mind and the healthy body. That actually goes back to education, because when you have a healthy mind and a healthy body, you're more intuitive to learn. You're more open to. You feel better. You feel good. You wake up in the morning. And those are concerns of the school. Kids are sick too many times, or because of parents or siblings sick at home. Now they understand the importance of being healthy. And then learning about television or how to create a show, it gives them a pathway to a career, other than, okay, what am I going to do when I graduate?
Right.
Or do I have a chance to do something amazing? So this opens up the gateways, of their own community and their own life.
Right.
And that's what our program does.
Yes.
It teaches them life skills. It teaches them how to become a professional. If they want to leave our program, they can walk on now and go into a 2-year school and end up with a culinary arts degree if they so desire.
So Emilio, both chefs have said great things about these things. So tell me, what was your favorite recipe, and how the program changed? How have you changed from being in that program?
I think my favorite recipe that we have been making and stuff out of the years was the crepes.
Ah, crepes. That sounds yummy. I think I can use some right now.
And the thing that made me inspire and change my way, because they've been there for me. And especially my sister that has been pushing me and saying to just keep on doing whatever you're doing.
You are doing a great job, so do keep that, keep going. And you know that all these great mentors are here. They're not just here to teach you some of the cooking skills, but they're there to teach you the life lessons, experience. And so what is that one thing that you learned that's extremely important, making you want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to start cooking?
Those crepes.
Oh, those crepes.
So have you learned any skills in class? Like now, if you were to go into the kitchen, do you know the way the kitchen functions?
Yes.
Yes. So like when you're preparing something, what will be the first thing you will have to do? Mise en place. So what exactly is mise en place?
Mise en place is gathering all your stuff that you need before you go back and forth.
And why is it that we do that for?
So we won't waste a bit of time.
Very good. So understanding that, right, is the reason why maybe your mom now will feel very comfortable letting you in the kitchen. Because you're well, it's not going to let you, but eventually she'll let you, because you will show her that you have learned the safetiness of the kitchen, right? And also the safetiness of how to use the tools and how to use, she might be afraid that you may burn yourself, but you know that when you're in the kitchen, you must be safe no matter what, right? So
how is it being in the kitchen with your peers? 'Cause a lot of times kids, they learn how to cook, back at home with their mom and stuff like that. But I'm sure it's, being in the kitchen with kids your age, coming up with ideas. How is that for you?
It's actually fun because, basically, kids come there and release their stress and all that stuff. Things they're having problem at home or anything, there's another way, instead of doing all the other stuff, there's another way that they could come there and be be with kids their own age, be what was they going through, and just taking all that stuff to cooking something.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What are some of the things that you go through? You feel like, okay, I'm really stressed, but you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna go back to the cooking class so I could put all my energy, all my thought into making that perfect crepe or salad recipe.
How does it relax you? Does it relax you? Would you say it's relaxing to you?
Yes, it is relaxing for me. Because basically I could let my mind loose.
good.
I think you can let your mind loose because you know the details that you need to do to create the end product. So you're not having to think about that anymore, but you can just let your creativity flow, which is a really healthy thing for you.
And another thing also, that culinary arts, right? The art of cooking is an art, right? So you can be yourself. You could, let's say, instead of putting cumin, you could put whatever other spice you want. So it allows students, as you're saying, to be motivated, not to just be creative, but to be motivated. And then that allows anyone to kind of loosen up, to forget for that hour that you have, you're doing totally different than you're being in your English class or in your math class, although there's math in the kitchen, as you know, right? right? But
You can
it's
think
much
outside the
better.
box
But
a
you
little
can
bit.
think
Yeah.
outside, and then you actually can become a better person because you understand what you're paying for, right? That's the reason why we have culinary
It
math.
teaches you like critical
Critical thinking,
skills,
yeah.
critical thinking, you know, and I think you take that out, and I think it does release a lot of stress, you know, coming in and be able to create something that somebody else can eat too is a wonderful thing. It's a gift.
But wouldn't you say, Emilio, that when you cook, right, are you giving something? Is that something very personal?
Yes.
It is. So isn't that a great gift when you're able to cook something?
Yes.
Just tell me, elaborate a little bit on it. Okay, would that be?
I think it's a great gift.
Yeah.
Kids like us that we could cook and stuff, like we could show them that we're not just some kids that we just go to school, but some kids that we could do something.
Great.
It's almost empowering, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
great.
So what's fun, going to the cooking, the kitchen?
The kitchen that basically that I could go in there and just cook, or either they invite me to like places or either like events like this.
Right. See, I heard that you were a great advocate, and you actually helped out at the last event. So, tell me a little bit more about these other things that you learned, things other than cooking and how to cook.
Communication.
Communication. Wow, that's great. Now you're taking over. You're hosting. I think that's fantastic. You got a very bright future in front of you. So, what would you say about the two chefs?
Then
Are they hard on you in the
Putting
kitchen?
them on the spot.
So what's ever on your mind? Don't worry, pretend like they're not here.
they're hard on me, like, but I'm glad they're hard on me.
That's good. No,
Because there's two people that pushes me to keep on going and don't give up.
absolutely. I think I could attest that he does not lie, and I think he speaks the truth.
Like those two people that I could come up to like when problems or anything.
Right.
Even if I don't tell them, but like it takes me time.
Right, right. And you know that you can always count on them. I think, look, we have to, you have to pat yourself in the back for doing all the wonderful things that you're doing for him, for Emilio, and for all the kids at Santee High School, and just providing them that environment, a safe environment, and supporting environment that you're always there for them. I think that speaks a lot more than anything else, right?
And that's what kids want to come back from, like to cooking and stuff. So they know that not only they're like teachers and stuff, but there's somebody like they're their friends
That's great.
as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emilio. It's awesome.
Yeah. Very wonderful words, and I think what makes it very clear is that the cake offers more than just a skill set or knowledge about healthy eating. I think there's a lot more that's taking place there that sometimes you don't really get to appreciate until you're able to talk with the students and really hear what it means to them. So I thank you for being so candid with your thoughts and emotions.
So the chefs, moving forward, what are some of the challenges that we are facing with the CAKE program?
Well, we're looking for additional funding
Yeah.
so that we can keep the program strong. If we don't get it, we won't be able to continue as it is currently. So the way we raise money, or how we've been doing it in the past, is we've been taking the students with us and we've been doing catering assignments with them. We take them out, we teach them how to create the product and to go on site and deliver the product to the client. And so whatever funds we have, we bring back, we put right back into the program. But it won't be sustainable if we can't finalize and finish and get the funds that we've hope to achieve. We'll get them maybe in a month, and if we don't, we'll have to look in a different direction.
There's always this equation when you're doing something so awesome and you see the life changing because the students are making such a strive. But I don't want to say unfortunately, everything is you have to pay for it. So we wanted to provide the kids a more diverse scenario. If we don't have the funds, then it makes it difficult for us to be in the kitchen because there's no monies to buy foods. We cannot do as great things that we're doing right now with the television show. We want to do a little bit more with the kids to show them the different lifestyles that they can have. And that requires resources that the reason why they're not being offered at school is because they're not available. They're not available, and the administration can have it, can offer it to us. So that this will help. This will really be. We have the passion, we have the love, we have the commitment, we have the amazing students, and the facilities and partners. Oh my God, we have so many partners, but and volunteers. Alana has been an amazing contributor. Wendy, you know what it is
Right.
like,
I
right?
visited
you
the
have
kitchen.
been there, right? You have cooked with us, but the fundings are essential, and not just fundings. We need to have extra funding so that we're not always thinking, oh my God, we only have a budget for this, and that is a way that we need to sort of think these days, because budgets are not working.
Right, in terms of, and I noticed that you've had a lot of innovative solution to solving the problem
Right.
of funding, of having students selling their products at this farmers market, or bringing in investors. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So with Harvest with Heart, which is a program that we did in collaboration with the American Heart Association and the California Endowment, we taught the students a little bit about everything in life. They explored yoga, so that was something that they had never had before. And we taught them how to create a PSA on health, and then we taught them how to write a business plan on something that they grew in the garden and created into a product. They took that into the business plan, and then we had a pop-up farmers market that we created right on site at the school. The kids sold their items, and then they got to keep the profits. So now the California Endowment has invited venture capitalists to come back in and meet with the students, and some of them are moving ahead, and their products are hopefully going to get funded. So we're in the process of doing
I think
that
we've
right
had with our audiences suggest that they aren't able to hear you when you talk, so maybe we might have to share a little microphone.
Share with me there.
Sharing is caring, right?
I got you right.
Right. So he goes, you got his back, and he's got you back
you go,
right there.
Right.
So that's what we're in the process of doing now. We just finished that as was a summer program that we created with the American Heart Association and the California Endowment last year, and some of our students, as a result of creating their product and their business plan, were invited to show that to some venture capitalists who have met with them again and are now looking to take them and into the future and fund their product.
Right.
So that's one area that we're hoping to explore again further. But we would like to bring in an after-school program to Santee and reach out into the community a little further, and also bring in the parents and the community and
Right.
teach them at least one day a week, maybe after school, to have them come on in and work with us in the kitchen and teach them healthy life skills as well. So it's really ultimately going to be what we can share with our students, because the students are really going to become the ambassadors for us. They're going to become the seeds of change. But we're hoping to bring the whole community in and have everybody participate in the program that we've designed at Santee for a very important reason.
Yeah, I think also that the reason why reaching out to the community is so important is because I go back to what I said to Amelia earlier, where cooking is something that is so incredibly personal, and you give to someone without knowing or knowing. But I think that working with the community and the kids and their parents will strengthen a relationship that otherwise becomes a parent to child relationship, but more of a parent individual relationship. Get to know what your child likes, get to know what the child feels, get to know how the child thinks, and that will empower them or enhance them in a way where otherwise they don't have time for it. This is kind of like a fun thing to do with my child and have that relationship with it. And also I think that the child will feel that the parents have time, because I think time is a critical part of their daily life, because they're always working, right, Emilio? So I think that would build and strengthen relationships.
Yeah, and that's why we created the video, the culinary video that the students are about to do. It's because
He's got your back, right?
it's because we're going to teach them how to create a dish that's 30 minutes or less. Who has more time than that? Nobody does, really, right? So if the students can do it, they can take it home now, and they can. Well, they're going to do it as a video so that the world can learn how to do it. If our students can do it, you guys can do it, and they'll take it home to their family and their community. They'll talk to their other family members. They'll say, "Hey, let me show you how. Let me go ahead. Let me advise you on how to make a wonderful, healthy meal. It's delicious, fresh, and inspiring, and it's 30 minutes or less." So.
Also, we were talking about how this through the Harvest with Heart program, the kids were also able to do business plans and create their own idea. But oftentimes, we don't think that kids can do that, right? That they don't have the ability to. And we learned that they do have the ability to, and we learned that they do want to do more. So having a farmers markets from the grounds of the school would actually give them the opportunity to be part of the solution, be part of the change that is so needed in the area. And if we wanted to have change, we begin with them.
Yeah.
And kind of touching upon change and stuff, and Emilio, Chef Mel, and Chef Liz talked about kind of creating ambassadors. So if you had a message to give to your peers, to your community, kind of from the stuff that you learned, what would your message be?
I think is that keep on going. Don't be letting people bring you down or anything, because they have more to them. And the fact that there's people that are there for them no matter what.
That's great.
Would you inspire them to eat healthy? Would you think that that's important for them?
And the party.
Have you made a change? You tell us about the changes that you're making.
I haven't made a change because since when I went to the doctor, they said my gluten was a little bit too high.
Glucose.
So when I heard that, everything was all good, but except for that. So when I heard that, I decided to change. I went up to them. I actually went up to them and asked them for help.
That's right.
Wow.
He asked me about, he wanted to learn healthy recipes because he wanted to eat healthy because they had told him. So now he understands the relationship better of eating because he's passionate about it. He loves to cook. But also exercising is part of it. And that was another component of Harvest with Heart when we did the pilot. It was so essential. It provided an amazing opportunity for the kids to be motivated. They did whatever they wanted to. There was music involved. It wasn't a mandatory thing. It was a fun thing. And they were doing yoga, and they were doing Zumba, and they were doing tennis. So Emilio wants swimming. Emilio wants to be part of all of those different things. So I hope that we have the opportunity to continue the program because those are the months that are so critical in a child's life, summer.
And that was mind, body, and soul. And that's really what our program does. It focuses on the mind, body, and soul, and how you can bring them all together. And it all starts with eating and having an idea of what a healthy lifestyle is.
Man, it's a change. I mean, it's a change for me too, because if I wouldn't have found out about this and stuff, I know for sure I wouldn't be doing nothing.
Oh, you're doing great. So
I know for sure I would have just been in the home just kicking it.
But you're doing
But
an
I have
amazing job.
opportunity like this and to show my parents and for them to keep a change for them too, because for their health too.
Right. You're absolutely right. It starts from you, and you are the ambassador. And keep doing all the great work that you're doing, and continue. And this is much needed. And thank you so much, chefs and Emilio,
Thank you.
for
you so much.
sharing with us.
We have to have healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy living.
Yeah.
Right, Emilio?
That's right.
That's right.
And let's make it happen. You know what? Sustainable
Right.
change starts from you, starts from us today, one at a time. Together, we can make that change for the better. Thank you, both chefs.
I want to thank you guys. For
Thank
that.
you.
And Emilio would like to thank his family for all
Especially
the
my sister and my brother too.
great. Well, thank you for bringing up a wonderful young gentleman and with a very bright future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think we found a new talk show.
There we go.
That's so funny.
Take my job.
You don't want
They don't need us.
If you want that job, I'll take it right now.
We got a continuity plan in place.
Behind the scenes right here.
For a lot of Wendy.
For the audience watching, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.